February. Here we go. Happy February. Instead of talking about what we're grateful for this morning, would love for you guys to type in the chat box and or type on Facebook something that you're looking forward to this month specifically. So anything you guys are looking forward to. I just looked at the weather. I'm looking forward to, Adam and I will be going to a John Maxwell event in West Palm Beach on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and a little bit of Adam's birthday and Valentine's Day in there. And it had been raining, and I just looked, and it's going to be like 80 every day and sunny. So I'm very much looking forward to the sunshine. Taking market share, Susan, I love that. Oh, forward to a couples Gatlinburg trip. That's great, Matt. Oh, that's a really good one. Gatlinburg, Heather frequents Gatlinburg. I haven't gotten to frequent Gatlinburg lately, but I do like it. What's my favorite place there that oh, the Apple Barn. Whew. The Apple Barn is where it's at, which I think technically is in Pigeon Forge, maybe not Gatlinburg. I can't remember, but got to eat at the Apple Barn. Ruth said it's our wedding anniversary this weekend. Happy anniversary. That is so awesome. Susan, our office has a big announcement today that you'll have to look forward to in regards to taking market share, which is really fun and exciting. So you'll have to be on the lookout for that. Love that one. Okay, so today we're going to talk about happiness, and this was actually a lesson that I learned a couple of weeks ago. Some of it came from a church, our church service, and then a little bit of the other I got from somewhere else, a book that I've been reading. But I just want you to think about, what does happiness mean to you? And what do you think of? And there should be a K there when you think of happiness. So happiness for a lot of people may mean something different. And so I just want you to specifically think about what happiness means to you. And when you think of it, when you think of being really happy, does a certain time flash in your mind? Is it maybe people that you're with? What does it mean to you to be happy? And this is me happy on Sunday. This is me not happy on Monday. Literally 24 hours later, Sunday afternoon, I had a great day. We went to an oyster roast. That's me and my nephew Graham. We had so much fun. And less than 24 hours later, I'm at the dentist for 3.5, almost 4 hours, not being happy. Oh, Susan said carefree. Yep, that's a great one, carefree. So I wanted to share this because it's interesting how quickly your happiness can change. You can be happy one day and not happy the next, or you can be happy in one moment and not happy in the next moment. And so in order to be happy, they talk about having the mindset of a warrior. And I love this quote from Greg Surratt, who said, your trainings in times of peace is actually the best predictor of what it will be like in the times of war, meaning how you have your practices and how you train your mindset and your mind when you're happy and when things are peaceful is actually the best predictor of what it will be like in times of war, meaning when you have, a season of unhappiness, or you have things that are happening that maybe you aren't as excited about, or might just even downright be tragic, unfortunately. But how you train in times of peace is typically what will come out when you have a time of war and or unhappiness. So the question is, why is it harder for some people to be happy than others? And or why do some people just generally seem happier than others? And actually, there are statistics around this that I'm going to share with you today. And I found this fascinating when it comes to your mindset. So your happiness statistically in your mind is made up of 3 different kind of sections. One is 50% happy. Oh, here comes Sarah Weber in to be happy today. Okay. So one is 50%, one is 40%, and one is 10%. And so I'm going to go through these things that actually make you happy. The first one, which is kind of unfortunate, but also doesn't really surprise me, 50% of your happiness is you as a person, like what's baked into you, meaning your genetics, how you were raised, your temperament. Are you naturally an extrovert or introvert? Are you naturally kind of a melancholy person? Do you naturally get creative? Creativity can spur happiness. Are you not naturally creative? Do you just have that? I don't know how to say this word. When he said it, I was like, oh, I had to look that up. Choleric, maybe, I think. Is that right? Ruth knows how to say it. I'm not saying it right. How do you say it, Ruth?
Choleric.
What?
Choleric.
Choleric. Okay.
Choleric. Yeah.
Choleric.
Like a
Sometimes,
colicky baby.
oh, okay. Choleric. Okay, got it. Okay. Heather, did you know how to say that? No, okay. I was gonna say we say things different in Kentucky, so it might just be us. But what that means is like, do you sometimes just wake up angry? Like Greg Surratt gave the example of he doesn't really wake up happy. He usually wakes up angry, and then he kind of just naturally, and then he just kind of has to get happy. Which when he said that, Adam looked at me. I was like, I don't really need you to like look at me right now when you're saying that because it takes me a minute to wake up in the morning, so I don't generally wake up like woo. um do you have personality traits? Like what's your disposition? So 50% of if you're a happy person or not is just baked inside of you. So you have to either know how you are if you aren't generally happy, and you have to combat that. But you have to know that it's just kind of who you are. The next 10%, which honestly, I thought that this would be a larger percentage, but it's not. 10% is circumstantial, meaning just your location, where you live. People that live where it's sunny are generally happier. People that live in like doom and gloom. Your age, sometimes people are, they say, happier when you're a baby and then happier when you get older. Your gender, your ethnicity, life events. Like this is just circumstantial. Some people have life events that have unfortunately occurred to them that could make them not as happy of a person. Your life status, money. Statistically, people who attend church are happier people, by the way. But he says about this, the 10% part, limited potential for substantial or for sustainable change, meaning some of these things are just out of your control. And if you change them, it might not be sustainable. So if you have always been in a location that just isn't a great place, the likelihood of sometimes you getting out of that location may be slim to none. Or if you've had a life event that's happened to you, obviously you're not going to be able to change that. So 10% of your happiness is circumstantial. And then 40%, so almost as much as what's baked in, are your actions. So that means the things that you do that you have control of, 40% of that leads to how happy you are as a person. So if you think about 50% baked in, 10% circumstantial, and 40% are your actions. If we can't really change the baked in and the circumstantial, you kind of can change the circumstantial, but only 10%. So what you really have to focus on are the actions that you can control. And for me, when I think about mindset, that's really what it is. It's actually controlling the things that you can control and focusing on what you can control, not on what you can't control, which are your actions. A big piece of this I don't have on the screen actually, but one of the biggest things that statistically you can control to improve your happiness is your attitude. You actually have total control of your attitude, and whether you want to wake up with a positive attitude or whether you want to wake up with a negative attitude or whether you want to change your attitude. Your attitude is one of those big things that you can control that actually does lead to your happiness. And so we have to remember that. Other things that you can control action wise, a lot of times, like you can control your job, what you get up and do every single day. You can control the people that you're around, your friends. You might not be able to control or choose your family at this point, but you can control other people that you are around. You can control your attitude towards your family if you don't want to be around your family. Hopefully most of you do. You can control the words that come out of your mouth. You can control the things that come into your mind. Actually, Adam and I were just having this conversation last night. We've been watching this Netflix. We don't like watch a lot of stuff, but when we do, we like binge on a show. We've been watching, we got sucked into Griselda, I think is how you say her name, but it's like a, I don't know, cartel, like Mexican drug show, basically. And we were watching, I kind of sometimes like some of those things. So we were watching it, and towards the like last couple episodes, actually didn't finish it because I was like, this is like not putting me in a good headspace. I could immediately tell that my mindset was different. And I told Adam, I was like, isn't that funny? Like it doesn't affect him, but it does affect me. So you just have to know the things that you can control that can actually affect your mindset. Diana Kokoska recently told this story, and I thought it was so good. She says, you really have taught that's spelled wrong, have taught your brain to think the way that it does. For example, and she told the story, but I just took the Cliff Note version of it. Two kids both grew up in an alcoholic home. One became very successful and one became homeless. When interviewed on how they got to where they are today, both answered the same. I am here because my parents are alcoholics. It's how you frame your situations and think about it in your mind that determines your outcome. And I don't know if you guys like happen to know anybody, maybe not that were in an alcoholic home, but maybe they were two kids that were raised in the same environment in the same home, and one turned out drastically different than the other turned out. It's likely because one of them, well, both of them, Matt is saying that's him, framed their situation differently in their mind, and they made the decision to have a different outcome and determine their outcome versus letting their situation, control the rest of their life or how their actions came about. I know a lot of people who have been in this situation, and it's interesting because one turned out one way and one turned out another. And Heather, we won't name names, but I mean, we know some people who are drastically different and they both grew up in the same house. So it's all about how you frame your situation and the mindset that you have. And I love what Diana said. Decide today that you won't think like the rest of the world, just be different and stand out. And for me, you have to be able to actually have the mindset to do that if you are going to be different, if you are going to stand out. So a couple of things in closing, and then I want to ask you guys some questions, but statistically, and I don't have the stats, but this was in the book. Statistically, generous people are statistically happier than others. That one didn't really shock me. The more generous that you are, the happier that you are. I think sometimes we get in such a like me focus that we forget to be generous. Not you guys on this call, but other people. And generally, generous people are statistically happier. And I think that's because if any of you have, ever gone and like volunteered or you've given of your time or something, you think you're doing it for the people that are there that you're serving, and you are, but typically you leave happier and feeling better than what you did when you showed up. The second thing, statistically, an act of prayer or meditation lifts your mindset instantly. So in statistics, the statistics show that if you are in like a not great mindset, or you're in a circumstance that you feel like is kind of out of your control, if you're a person of faith praying, if you are into meditation, either one just automatically lifts up your mindset. And then there are three things that you can control in the actions part to be happier and to lift your mindset. So the first one are acts of kindness. And he talked a lot about really being intentional with kindness, not just kind of letting it go and being a way of life, but like actually being intentional and thinking of ways that you can be kind throughout your day. So when you have random acts of kindness or intentional acts of kindness, statistically, you're going to be happier and you can control that. Second thing I just talked about, acts of prayer or meditation, making sure that those things are a part of your day. And then the third thing is such a huge one. This could be a whole mindset lesson. And I feel like we've done these before on gratitude, practicing gratitude statistically. And it is like it's proven in the neurons in your brain. I have like spiraled deep on this, that when you are in an act of gratitude, you actually can't be unhappy and you can't be angry at the same time. Like your brain doesn't work like that. So the more that you can practice acts of gratitude, whether that's you just making a gratitude list, you having a gratitude journal, you writing gratitude thank you cards. Like yesterday, I sat down for a few minutes and wrote just several handwritten thank you cards to a few people who just have stepped up lately and are doing really good things. And it made me feel happy to write the gratitude cards, and then hopefully they'll be happy when they read them. So acts of kindness, prayer, meditation, and then acts of gratitude are the things that you can control to lift your mindset. So I just want you guys to think about these 4 questions as we wrap up and as you go about the rest of your week and your day. What is your mindset for 2024? Susan said, I make myself every morning before I get out of bed say thanks for everything. Love that. Yep, you're starting your day off right, Susan. That's so good. What is your mindset for 2024? Did you have a rough 2023? and you were ready for 2024. That was me. I was very ready for 2024 for a new year. I always love a new year anyway, though, because I just like a fresh start. But can it be lifted? Like, can you elevate the current mindset that you have or that you already had for 2024? Can you make that even better and bigger for 2024? What do you need to focus on that you can actually control to be happier? Is it the people that you're around? Is it what you're watching? Is it what you're listening to? What is it that you can actually control that you could focus on to be happy? And then are you in a peacetime in your life right now or a wartime? And when he says wartime, like you just might mean like, you're just struggling, you're in the dumps about something. And so either which way, no matter which way you're in, how can you actually practice happiness in the peacetime? And I actually have a video that Tyler and I filmed last week that I'm getting ready to post. I don't know, in the next few days. I don't know when it's posting, but and it's actually on like the 3 things that you can do to be mentally strong during a tough time or during a wartime, if you will, to use his words. And a lot of it is what things that you're doing in the peacetime when you're happy, because they automatically just carry over when you have something, unfortunate happen to you. So what's your mindset? Can it be lifted even more? What do you need to focus on that you can control to be happier? And then whether you're in a peacetime or a wartime in your life right now, how can you practice happiness continuously in your peacetime so that when a life's unexpected does happen, you are in a little bit better of a situation and you're not totally struggling, like most people are. So there you go. There's your lesson, 2 minutes early. Any thoughts, comments, feedback? Are you all shocked by the percentages? Or did they kind of No, not shocked. Yeah. Yeah, I was a little shocked by the 50% baked in, but it does make sense, really. I mean, how you are as a person and what's inside of you and how you were raised typically does have a lot to play into the rest of your life. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks for being on. Thanks for watching on Facebook. Hope this boosted your mindset, and we will see you the beginning of March. Thanks, guys. See ya.